Good morning, Math 3. Today we are, and for the rest of the week, we are taking a look at how to compare functions, right? How to look at different mathematical models and decide which one best fits a particular set of data or a particular scenario, a particular real-world case, or word problem, as the case may be. This website you're familiar with. You've been looking at it since January. This is, of course, the interactive website, the interactive map put together by Johns Hopkins University to track the COVID-19 outbreak. Down here in the right-hand corner, you will see an exponential growth curve. And if you hover over different spots on the curve, it will tell you how many total cases worldwide on a particular date, right? And we are, of course, at just over 2.5 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 worldwide. Now, over the past few months, they've added features to this site. And as mathematicians have worked to try to understand and model what's going on, different numbers, different functions and models have become more important than others. So this daily case rise is interesting, and we are looking for a change in this graph, right? We would like to see this level out. We would like to see no more new cases, right? Clearly, we're not quite there yet. Okay. Now, if I click here and I go to daily cases, I can see how many new cases were added on any given day. Okay, if I hover over things again, it will show me the total, right? I'll go here on the 10th of April. Oh, excuse me, I was reading that one wrong. Okay, so if I hover over this, it will show me the daily increase, right? So on April the 12th, 2020, the world had 99,100 new cases confirmed. Okay? If I go here, I can see that on March 13th, 2020, the world only had 16,900 new cases added. Okay? But this graph, okay, showing how many new cases per day has become particularly interesting, right? This is the graph that we look at to see a curve, right? A curve up or a curve down. And it's that curve down, not just the leveling off, but the curve down that we are looking for. So this morning we're going to take a quick look at a couple of different countries that may have experienced that and let that be our guide to try to determine if we in the United States or even the state of Wisconsin, the city of La Crosse, are seeing our curve level off or flatten, right? To see if we are past the peak. Here we go. Let's take a look at Spain first. Okay. And as I click on the country, I will see a different country-specific graph down here in the left-hand corner. Right? So Spain has 21,717 total deaths and 208,000 confirmed cases. Their cases started to rise in late February, early March. And it looks to me like this is the biggest one. I'm going to hover over that. Biggest one, here we go. On March 25th, they added 9.6 thousand new cases. Okay. Now, it looks to me like there is a real decline, but then a new spike is occurring. And some countries have experienced this where there's a clear peak and a decline and a second wave. I think looking at Spain's graph of daily cases, they may be experiencing a second wave. I think that's what this spike here signifies, a second rise in cases. And so it's hard to say if their curve is really leveling off or declining. Okay, let's look at Italy. Italy's trend, right, Here's the exponential growth curve up and a more steady decline. Certainly some ups and some downs, but a more steady, more consistent decline. They reported only 2.7 thousand new cases yesterday. If I look at France, I'll see something very different. France had an early rise, but not nearly so many cases as Italy or Spain. One day where they reported 26,000 new cases, right? And then their numbers have stayed relatively low. Does this mean that they're past their peak? We don't know yet. We'll have to keep watching. Let's look at Germany. Germany has a graph much more like Italy, where you see a clear peak and then a steady decline. So it is possible that the social distancing efforts in Germany are working. As we go down this list, we'll see a variety of different graphs. Here's the United Kingdom, not quite clear whether they've reached their peak yet. Here's Turkey. Again, not quite clear. We're going to come down here to China, which experienced the largest early surge in coronavirus cases, right? China was the country we were all watching back in January. And we can see, it's very interesting, something almost like we saw in France, an early rise, a huge spike, and this spike may in fact represent not a massive outbreak, but a change in how the numbers are being reported. And then a steady, slow decline until here on, April 17th. China reported only 357 new cases of coronavirus, and they have had some days where they have reported no deaths from coronavirus. I would say based on this graph, it is clear that the social distancing efforts in China worked to save lives and prevent the spread of the coronavirus. I can also say with confidence that they are clearly past their peak, right? The evidence on the graph shows that because the numbers all declined to almost zero. Right? If we come down and we take a look at South Korea, we may see something very similar. Right? South Korea experienced an early spike and then a consistent, steady decline down here to, yesterday they reported only 9 new cases. Based on these mathematical models, based on this data, it's clear that in some countries, social distancing truly is working. Based on what you've seen in this video, please go to the Google form and do your best to answer the questions about our graphs, right? Are we in the United States doing enough for social distancing? Will our graph level off and decline? Are we in the state of Wisconsin, in the city of La Crosse, doing what needs to be done to prevent the spread of COVID-19? Take a look at the math and do your best to answer the questions.